Bonjour everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now today, I want to talk about a legendary cartoon gang that I've always wanted to talk about on my show, and one that hopefully someday I can be part of. The Disney Gang. This group of cartoon characters, created by the legendary Walt Disney, includes Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto, and many more. And without them, the Walt Disney Company would never be the same. You know, when I was a young foal, I loved watching many of Mickey's cartoons. Not only the ones on the Disney Channel, but also on the classic VHS called The Spirit of Mickey. Also, during the late 90s, there were other great cartoons from the Disney gang, like on Mickey Mouse Works and The House of Mouse. And nowadays, Mickey and Friends have appeared in shows like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Mickey and the Roadster Racers, and of course the new Mickey shorts. But to me, they're not really the same as the old days. Speaking of which, some of these cartoons that Mickey and Company were part of were technically their own versions of such classic stories, like Gulliver's Travels, Alice in Wonderland, Ivanhoe, Jack and the Beanstalk, The Valiant Little Tailor, The Prince and the Pauper, A Christmas Carol, and several others. But for today's episode, we're going to look into a Disney version of Alexandre Dumas' story, The Three Musketeers, and see if it's still a good underrated Disney classic. Released to home video and DVD on August 17, 2004, the movie is Mickey, Donald, Goofy, The Three Musketeers. Now let's get started. In this story, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy are lowly French peasants who dream of greatness as members of the Royal Musketeers. Though they are rejected by that elite unit, conniving Pete hires them to protect Princess Minnie, believing their incompetence will make it easier for him to usurp the throne. Naturally, Minnie is instantly smitten with Mickey, and though the trio is a bit overzealous at first, they work together to uncover and foil Pete's nefarious plot. So, what do I think? Well, I find this movie to be highly underrated and a lot of fun for the whole family. But to further explain why I love this movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. The movie was animated by Toon City Animation Incorporated in Manila, Philippines, and Walt Disney Animation Australia as Disney Toon Studios in Sydney, Australia. An adaptation of Alexandre Dumas' The Three Musketeers, with Mickey, Donald, and Goofy as the Musketeers, was planned during the 1980s at Walt Disney Animation Studios. In 1983, storyboard artists Steve Hewlett and Pete Young developed the project with Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, and Jose Carioca as the Musketeers, but unfortunately, it fell into development hell. In 2002, in honor of Mickey Mouse's 75th anniversary, it was announced that a featurette entitled The Search of Mickey Mouse was in development. The project was about Mickey, who gets kidnapped by unknown forces, forcing Minnie to enlist Basil of Baker Street from the Great Mouse Detective to investigate his disappearance, and later encounters, one character from Disney's animated film canon, such as Alice, Peter Pan, Robin Hood, and Aladdin. However, the project suffered script problems with the multiple cameos being thought to be too gimmicky. And yet, during that same year, Kingdom Hearts came along. After the cancellation of the latter project, it was announced that a feature film based on the Three Musketeers, with Mickey, Donald, and Goofy in the lead roles, was in development, meaning that Houlet's and Young's project had been revived. Unfortunately, the film didn't include Jose Carioca like in the early development. Now, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, to me, the animation in this movie is surprisingly good, and I really like how they designed this version of France. It looks almost like middle-aged France, in my opinion. And I think the character designs are very reminiscent to the classic Disney days. Also, this movie is full of hilarious, cartoonish Disney humor, and there are some modern stuff thrown into it. However, some of my favorite parts of this movie are the fight scenes between the Disney trio and the Beagle Boys, as well as the part where Goofy charges through the window, which is followed by him getting slingshot by a tree, kicked by a cow, and spun by a windmill. I also like the part where the Musketeer Chorus does their own version of the military Candace March, called the Musketeer Anthem. In fact, nowadays, it brings back memories when I led something like that when I played General Genghis Khan Schmitz in Seussical.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like them, Sam, I am.
I do not like them, Sam, I am.
Sound off.
Eggs and ham.
Sound off.
Sam, I am.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
Also, believe it or not, this movie is actually Disney's second time adapting the Three Musketeers. You see, back in 1993, Disney, with help from Caravan Pictures, made a live-action version featuring actors like Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, and Tim Curry. Now, it's been a while since I've rented this version from Netflix, but in my eyes, it feels like a classic movie. Fun fact, this movie inspired a level in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance called the Country of the Musketeers, where Sora joins the gang as the fourth Musketeer, while Riku helps Minnie retrieve a missing stage gadget from the Beagle Boys to prevent Pete from springing a trap. Also, like Timeless River and Symphony of Sorcery, this world is featured as a period of Mickey Mouse's past. Unfortunately, characters like Daisy Duck, the Troubadour, and Clarabelle Cow don't appear in this game. Now, what would be a Disney movie, let alone a Mickey Mouse movie, without wonderful and memorable songs? Now, most of these songs are with lyrics versions of classical music, and they're mostly sung by our narrator, a turtle named Troubadour. First, there's the All for One and One for All song, sung by Troubadour and the Musketeer Choir. This song uses music from the Can-Can. You know, the music that was used in the painting chase in Looney Tunes Back in Action, and it was used whenever Chef Louie chases Sebastian in the Little Mermaid movies. Anyway, to me, this song is one of my favorites because it's a great song to open the movie, and I really like the message of working together as one. Plus, is it just me, or does the Musketeer group look like Goofy clones? Next is Love So Lovely, which is set to the music from Dance of the Reed Flutes from the Nutcracker and Romeo and Juliet's Fantasy Overture. This song depicts Princess Minnie's desire to find her one true love as the Beagle Boys secretly plan to drop a safe on her. To me, this song is actually very beautiful, and it does a good job combining the two symphonies together. However, in my opinion, I like the Nutcracker verses better. Plus, it makes me more excited for Disney's upcoming Nutcracker movie, which will be in theaters this holiday season. Also, I'm glad the Beagle Boys did not succeed in crushing Minnie with a safe. Otherwise, she would have ended up like Marvin Acme. Next we have the villain song, Petey's King of France, sung by Pete, set to In the Hall of the Mountain King. Pete sings this when he realizes that he has a large % chance of succeeding with his evil plan to dominate France. This also feels like a song that you'd listen to when Halloween rolls by. Next, we come to the movie's love song, Sweet Wings of Love, sung by Troubadour and a butterfly choir, set to Blue Danube. This song uses a romantic ballet for Mickey and Minnie. And, in my opinion, I think this song is very sweet. Plus, the relationship between Mickey and Minnie is just so adorable. Next is Chains of Love, sung by Goofy and Clarabelle Cow, set to the music from Carmen. Now, this song is sung while Clarabelle plans to drown Goofy in the river. But, during the song, Goofy and Clarabelle start to have romantic feelings for each other. And, in my opinion, while this song is a tad strange, I know that Horace Horsecolor might not like this relationship, since normally Clarabelle is his girl. Next is This Is the End, set to Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. Man, haven't mentioned this piece since Fantasia 2000. This song is sung by Troubadour while trying to encourage Donald to help Goofy and Pluto rescue Mickey. Also, I find it hilarious when Donald brings up his angry side and smashes Troubadour's mandolin. Next, we have my second favorite song in the movie, L'Opera, sung by a chorus of pirates and maidens. This song is technically a medley of songs from the Pirates of Penzance, which, believe it or not, is what my friends at Musical Theater Village are doing right about now. Anyway, I like that this song takes place during the final battle of the movie. The last song in the movie is 3 is a Magic Number, sung during the end credits by Stevie Brock, Gregory Raposo, and Matt Ballinger. And in my opinion, this song is a great modern cover of a classic schoolhouse rock hit that teaches children how to multiply by 3. And now, let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought them to life. Let's start with the leader of the main 3, Mickey Mouse, voiced by the late Wayne Allwayne. Now, believe me when I say that Mickey is a Disney character whom I looked up to the most, due to his bravery, friendliness, and optimism. Plus, while Mickey may be small, I know that Mickey can do big things whenever he works together with his pals. And this movie is no different. Also, I can't believe that Mickey is turning 90 years old this year. Walt Disney and Oswald will be proud. Next we have Donald Duck, voiced by Tony Anselmo. Now, Donald is a really funny character, especially since he is famous for a hot temper. In this movie, the only thing standing in Donald's way is the fact that he's a complete coward in the face of real danger. However, I think Donald was brave to warn Mickey about what Pete was up to. Next we come to Goofy, voiced by Bill Farmer, who got to voice Stinky in 2 of the live-action Casper movies. Now, in this movie, Goofy is known to be a real, doofus, and a real klutz at that. But still, due to Goofy's loyalty towards his friends, I think he has the potential to be a great musketeer. We also have Mickey's dog, Pluto, also voiced by Bill Farmer. To me, Pluto is a smart and loyal dog, and I really like when Pluto often reminds Mickey never to give up. And I like the part where Pluto uses his tail as a boat motor. Next is Princess Minnie, voiced by Wayne Allwine's widow, Russi Taylor, who got to voice in DuckTales, My Little Pony Generation 1, Jetsons the movie, the Cinderella sequels, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, and of course, The Rescuers Down Under. Now, in this story, Minnie continually daydreams about her true love, Mickey. She's also the only monarch getting in the way of Pete's plans, who can't take over the kingdom if he cannot get rid of her. Interestingly, for this particular movie, Minnie is drawn with her hair bangs, which do not appear in any later cartoons. Plus, I think this is Minnie's third time being a princess. You see, she was princess in the cartoons Ye Olden Days and The Brave Little Tailor. Plus, I think Minnie is very sweet and beautiful, and I like that she has faith in Mickey and the gang. Next we have Minnie's Lady-in-Waiting, Daisy Duck, voiced by Trez MacNeille, whom I remember from Tiny Toon Adventures, Animaniacs, Hey Arnold, and Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Now, Daisy secretly believes Minnie's fantasies of true love is a little ridiculous, and she believes that a princess should be practical, which sounds pretty similar to the Sultan from Aladdin. After Daisy and Minnie are rescued at the opera, she reveals her love for Donald, and the two are presumed married. Next, we come to our villain, Pete, voiced by the great Jim Cummings. Now, this movie marks the first time Pete was depicted with his infamous peg leg in animation since the 1930s. In this film, Pete is secretly plotting to kidnap Princess Minnie and take over France as king. To me, as usual, Pete is a classic cartoon villain and a timeless Disney villain. Plus, I think Jim Cummings has a lot of fun voicing Pete. Plus, I find it pretty funny when he says a verse from Mickey Mouse's Club song, and he quotes a Lion King song, too. However, I think the most villainous act that Pete does in this movie is attempting to drown Mickey at Mont Saint Michel. Next we have Pete's lieutenant, Clarabelle Cow, voiced by April Winchell, who got to voice Pete's wife, Peg, from Goof Troop, the matchmaker in Mulan 2, and Miss Finster from Recess. In this movie, Clarabelle is villainous and sadistic, like when she sends the Beagle Boys into a not-so-deep pit. Later in the movie, Clarabelle kidnaps Goofy, and she's assigned to throw him off a bridge into a river to his death. But, as mentioned before, thanks to the Chains of Love song, Clarabelle falls in love with Goofy. Next, we have Pete's henchmen, the Beagle Boys, voiced by Jeff Bennett and Maurice LaMarche. Now, I mostly know these scoundrels from DuckTales. But anyway, in this movie, they are assigned to kidnap Minnie and lock her away. And, in my opinion, even though they do look intimidating, these beagles are complete screw-ups. Finally, we come to our narrator, Troubadour, voiced by Rob Paulsen, who got to voice PJ in a Goofy movie, Experiment 625, aka Ruben in Stitch the Movie, and Leroy in Stitch, and of course, Carl Weezer in Jimmy Neutron. In my opinion, Troubadour is pretty similar to Alan Adale from Robin Hood. He is shown to be very skilled at playing the mandolin. Plus, during the opera climax, Troubadour serves as the orchestra's maestro. And now, let's move on to my final words. Overall, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, The Three Musketeers is a really fun Disney movie. The animation is fantastic, the story is heartwarming, funny, and daring. The movie's version of France is very reminiscent to the Middle Ages, mostly, but like the Swan Princess franchise, and yes, I still enjoy that series, there are some modern stuff thrown into this movie at times. Plus, the characters are all memorable and comical, the voice acting is spectacular, and the classical music used to accompany each song is cleverly used. Plus, this movie has a great message about working together as one. So, for those who haven't seen this movie yet, be sure to check it out, especially if you guys love the Disney gang, and if you guys have played Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. So, my rating for this movie will be a 90% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog, because next we're going to Nueva Vista with Princess Elena to meet some sirenas. Mustang power!